We'll hope.
That's all right.
Maybe Daisy can call everybody in.
Yeah.
So I'm Sharon, and this is Jess, and we are talking about some interesting things today. We're talking about feminism,
Mhm.
and I wrote a book called The Mad Wicked Folly, which I should probably hold up, right? Okay, hang
Yeah,
on.
probably.
Okay, I'm coming. And if you hear barking or animals like jumping on me, it's just kind of the way my life goes. I have many animals, and I put 2 dogs in the back room, so it should be okay. So Mad Wicked Folly is the paperback.
Oh, nice.
Ta-da! This comes out ninth, and then here's the one most people are familiar with. This one, Mad Wicked Folly. So I was really interested. First of all, I love your blog. I think it's so
Oh,
awesome.
thank you.
I really do, and I loved your review of the book because I just thought you were just dead on, and that you would come up with some questions that a few other people had too, which I found super
Mhm.
interesting. So I just wanted to talk. So the first one that you had, here comes a cat. Um, can you not push my water over? And they usually find things that they could do to annoy me to get their attention. So
And
yeah.
is it like always at the worst time?
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause I did one with Carrie Misrobian and the librarian toolbox, the YA librarian toolbox, Karen, and my dog barks through the whole thing. Just the UPS guy came. I had technical malfunctions.
Oh
It's
gosh.
horrible. Every time I go to an event or something, I either have a wardrobe malfunction, I get lost, something
Oh
something always
no.
disastrous happens. So it's a nice thing being a young adult author is that we're all kind of awkward and we're all,
Yeah.
because we're writing about teens, I think it's okay to be a little
A
awkward,
little, yeah.
awkward. So what was I saying? Anyway, so tell me that one question that you brought up about Vicky being kind of irritating and why, because a lot of
Yeah.
people thought that, and I thought it was really cool that we could maybe start that way.
Mhm. Let me see. So I read the book a while back, so I don't.
Hmm.
Some of the details are a little fuzzy, but I just remember, um, as I was reading, especially as she got more into the cause. Oh, I um how it sort of felt like she was doing it to get into art school,
Right, right,
and
exactly.
yeah, and how it like I wasn't sure if she really, at least in the beginning, I
Yeah,
don't think she really, I don't know if she really understood the
yeah,
cause or supported it, and
right,
then did that like change, but
yeah,
like I don't know if I got that change, and then it was like the question of, yeah, like did she really want to help, or was it more to get into art school, and then like is that still feminist? Because even if she isn't necessarily entirely into the movement, but at the same time, it's, her choice, like that's what she wants to do. And so, like, do the ends justify the means kind of
yeah.
thing.
That's it. Well, it was interesting that gosh, I probably should have put this on Twitter so people could join us.
Oh, yeah.
Shall we do that? Let's do that really
Yeah,
quickly. And then I will answer that question. That very wonderful question.
sure.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Oh,
I don't know if there's like a link to this, so I'll wait
yeah,
for yours.
yeah, I have it.
Okay. And then I can attach my review if anyone wants to see it.
Yeah. Okay. Hope that works. If it doesn't work, that's okay. And, oh, geez,
Oh.
Louise. Okay. I think that's you. Alrighty. Okay, we're back. And we're back. And now we have a calico tail that's sticking in front of the. If you. I have a Velcro curler here, and she's like playing with it. This is what she did in. Um, this is Biddy, big fat calico cat.
Aw.
Everybody will parade across my desk, and it will be
Yeah.
all great. Okay. Oh, we've got Sophia. Hey, Sophia.
Hi.
Sophia is my friend from Puerto Rico. Sophia, this is Jess.
Hi, how are
Hi.
you?
Good, how are you?
Thank you,
Okay,
I'm
so
good.
we were talking about okay, so let me back up. So we were just talking about how maybe Vicky was joining the suffragettes for the right reasons and all that good stuff. So originally, this book was very different. Originally, Vicky was right in there with the suffragettes. She was climbing out of the house to join them. She was in it to win it. And I had people say, why is she doing this? Why is she joining suffragettes? She's 17. How did she come to join them? And so I thought about that a lot. I thought, yeah, how does somebody actually become militant or become a rebel? And then all of a sudden, that's kind of what I wanted to explore. It's sort of like the people that, that join organizations like a Greenpeace or, anything really. To the point, or Whale Wars, like if you've ever seen that show, Whale Wars, those guys are going out on the ship, and they're out in the Southern Ocean for a very long time, risking their lives and all that. And I used to be a park ranger, and I worked with Greenpeace just a little bit. But I never was the kind of person, I didn't really want to get on the Rainbow Warrior. I didn't really, I was only so far. And so I thought, what is that tipping point that takes you over to become militant, to risk your parents disapproving, to risk your friends disapproving, to risk your whole life, because that's what Vicky was doing. She was in this golden cage where she didn't really have to do anything. She didn't have to comb her own hair. She didn't have to choose her own clothes, But as everything else, there's sort of a quid pro quo. So if you're in that golden cage and there's bait that's keeping you there, so something is keeping you there. So I had to sort of turn up the volume of her life, of sort of boil her a little bit for her to get out of that cage. And her mindset was very much me. And I think that's okay. I think that's okay when you're 17 and you're trying to figure out who you are. And she sort of had this personality pinned on her by her family, and not necessarily, it wasn't the one that she wanted. So yes, you're quite right. When she sees the suffragettes for the first time, she thinks, wow, look, there they are in the flesh, and they were really cool to draw. And sort of like if you were out and you saw, like I remember going to Chicago and I saw the branch of the oh gosh, what was that big thing? The Wall Street, the Occupy Wall Street. I saw them marching, and I said to myself, "Oh, go you!" That kind of kept going, And I just thought, and I took a picture of them, and I thought, "Wow, you guys are really cool. Go you!" Maybe I can donate some money or some such. So that was Vicky's introduction to them. It's like, you guys are great. Keep fighting the good fight, and I'll join you when you win. That sort of thing. So you're spot on. But I wanted to ask you a question about why, and I think a lot of girls are doing this lately, and I want to couch this in the right way. Why girls can't be selfish? Why is that sort of a bad thing? And if I don't think it's right to use somebody, but she wasn't using them really. She was working, she was doing the thing, she was providing, and then slowly she starts turning into a suffragette when she really sees that she has to make that stand, that change. So I wonder why that is. I'm not saying bad or good or why. I'm interested in knowing why girls feel that's kind of selfish, and maybe what she could have done instead. What do you think?
I think part of it, of course, is the societal expectation that girls are, you're not supposed to do something for yourself, and so I certainly agree with you. There's nothing wrong with it, and I think that we all are selfish at times as well. So
yeah, I love that you said that. It's great. Yeah. So do you feel that way sometimes in your own life? That maybe you feel bad that you're doing something for yourself and not another person? I mean, if that's too personal, you don't have to say anything. But I'm just interested. Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
That way. I feel that way every day. I
Mhm.
feel that way if I'm, taking a nap or something and the house needs to be cleaned or whatever, that I'm being selfish. And I don't know if it's just a teen thing. I mean, Sophie, are you nodding?
Yes, I'm listening. I think to some degree you have to be selfish because one thing that I've learned is before you can take care of others, you have to take care of yourself. And if you really want to provide for other people, you have to make sure that you have something to provide for. And I
Mhm.
think that at some point we have to be selfish before we can be selfless.
Oh, wow. That was really cool. I like that. That was great. So,
Thank you. Thank
yeah.
you. So maybe
I
before you Estoy hablando con Sharon. Okay. So maybe before you can go clean the house, you have to take a nap so you can have the energy to clean the house.
very wise.
So,
I just finished a book right now called The Forbidden Orchid, and I was so interested in what readers were saying about Folly, about thinking that Vicky was kind of being selfish, that I made a character that was bitten up by guilt for that. And Sophie sent a little beta reading on it, and how she kind of overcomes that. That she feels bad about wanting her own life, and I think that's really that's one of the reasons why I thought I would sort of go and explore that in my next book. So anyway, so did you feel? I'm trying to remember what else you said in your review about.
Yeah, I think for me it was more like like I mentioned how like I don't fault her for necessarily wanting that, and that's why I was feeling conflicted because of course, like as a female, like especially as a female I should say, I couldn't not support her doing what she wanted to do. um but I think part of it was maybe the way that it came across. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think that's right because she kind of is this, Vicky, I love her dearly, but she's a spoiled little miss. She's got it
Yeah.
all, she's got everything. And, I could have taken it from like Dora Tulis's point of view, who I don't know if let me show you a picture of Dora Tulis. Hang on. She was one of my inspirations for, okay, this is Dora Tulis. And this is, I think it's either 2 years before Vicky or 2 years after Vicky. And she was 16 years old, and she was known as the baby suffragette in the tabloids. Yes, there were tabloids then. And if you can see that she's nothing like Vicky. She's a mill worker, and I just love the looks on this policeman's face. I mean, there's a story right there, right? I mean,
Yeah.
look at this one guy's like grabbing her, and this other guy is kind of holding her hand. So you see like the two different police officers, and that was kind of my inspiration for Will. I mean, they look nothing like Will, but
no.
Mine Talks, Catchpole, and Will. How one treated the other. But I love how her mouth is open. She's like screaming at the crowd.
Yeah.
And interestingly, I have another picture of her. This is just an aside. This has been photoshopped. Her skirt was actually open. And for whatever reason, her clothing was open, and they fixed it before they printed the picture because they thought it was too, too
Yeah.
brazen.
Too
So
revealing.
first Photoshop, right, 1980 or whatever. I got off on a real tangent, you guys. What did I mean to say? So Vicky, yeah, she was a spoiled little miss. So if the reason I didn't choose Adora Tulis is because if you have nothing to lose, you have nothing to lose. But if you have a lot to lose, what gets you to leave out of that golden cage and to sort of get yourself out? And I see that with wealthy teens that I meet or people that have had everything handed to them. If you've ever met somebody who's had a real life change and something that has been very difficult for them, or maybe they've lost a loved one or they've had a very bad loss, there's a certain grace that they have after they move through that fire and understanding and empathy for other people. Whereas people who have lived a very sheltered life have almost gee, it sucks to be you kind of attitude, you know.
Right.
And I sort of wanted to have a girl that was really high and
Mhm.
that had to come out of that and experience life that she had never experienced before. So yeah, she was kind of annoying, and I guess if you could think of it in that way, it's like, oh, you have everything handed to you. But is that a good thing? You know, if you do
Right.
have everything handed to you, why would you want to struggle a little bit? You know, I was
Right.
listening to NPR the other day, and they were saying that, oh no, I think it was a TED Radio Talk, or I
Mhm.
listen to so many podcasts I can't even remember. And they were saying that in the olden days, in this place in Finland, that if the grandfather had starved, then his grandson was a stronger person. But if the grandfather had been given everything, the grandson would like have heart disease and all of that kind of stuff. That they were able to document this. So, you know, these sort of things make you stronger, and I think you just have to start in a certain place and see it buffeting you a little bit. Um,
Mhm.
so I don't know, Sophie, do you want to do something that you want to add to that?
Well, what I really liked about Vicky is that, and from the at the start of the novel, she's this rich girl living in her house, and then at the end of the novel, she's on her own, and you can see how she's at the very end, she's forced to face this reality that I want this, and I have to sacrifice the life that I had. That's one of the things that I really liked about the novel.
Yeah.
That in the end, she decides to give up everything for what she wants, and it's something that throughout the novel, as it progressed, I like that. You know, she little by little she was realizing what she wanted, the life that she wanted, and how she wanted it. That she realized that the cage that she was in wasn't one that was healthy for her, that made her happy. And
Right.
that's why I really like that at the end of the novel she moves in with Lucy. She becomes more active in the suffragette movement. That's something that I really liked.
So another thing that I really liked that you said too, Jess, was about whether it's right for us to say things about other women, whether we're not, if that makes us not feminist. Um,
Mhm.
I really love that comment that you made, and so I struggle with that too, because
Yeah.
you know, like let's talk about like the Miley Cyrus twerking video. Okay, I really felt
Right.
that, you know, I felt sad because in another way I thought, okay, well, if she is expressing herself, then okay, that's one thing. Um, oh, I just found something that I thought I lost. Okay. I've been looking for this for a really long time. This is the thing that encouraged. This is basically the inspiration for Madam's fly posting. Okay, I thought somebody took it, but nobody did.
No.
All right. So, you know, I felt really bad about that. You know, she got a big hit on, you know, people really saying, oh, what was wrong with her and all of that. And, you know, I think, yeah, then for me, I wouldn't do anything. It's not like,
Right.
I don't, first of all, I don't like that song because I think it's a horrible song about women, and I don't like for women to call each other bitches, and I don't like women to judge one another. And so, yeah, I struggle with that myself. It's like, do we have a right as feminists to judge other women for their
Right.
choices? What do you think? Do we or not?
Yeah.
I
Well,
think that's.
Oh, sorry.
No, you can go first, Jesse.
okay,
No,
well,
you
one
can
thing
go first.
I just want to add is that I worry when people put ideology in front of people. That's when I
Mhm.
worry about that. So, like the recent Twitter issue with feminists and a certain author bothered me because it's very hard to have nuance online. You know, it's really, really hard because you can't say, oh, I meant this or I meant that, and there's no, you know, people just grab hold of that, and there's
Right.
no speaking to someone. It's really easy to get in a fight with someone over email or in a text because you can take the words any way you want. And so I worry that if and this is what happened with Emmeline Pankhurst and her family. They put ideology in front of their own family. So, for instance, Sylvia was kicked out of the family. Adela was sent to Australia because they didn't feel like they were following Christabel and their mother's advice on everything, and so they tore their family apart for that reason. Now, I don't think that's a right thing to do. So anyway, go ahead, Jess. What did you think about that?
Yeah, so I mean, it's something that, like, I don't think necessarily there's one answer, and I think it's it's like one of those things that everybody has their own opinion, and I don't think there's one, like, set answer. And so it's something that I constantly struggle with as well. And it's, it's like you said, like, just because you don't agree with someone, it's like, can you say that it's not okay for them to do that if that's what they want to do? Because we should support one another, and we should allow one another to make the decisions that we want to make, even if we don't agree with them.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, at what point, is it criticizing someone's bad decision that's bad no matter who you are, and at what point are you criticizing, a female for doing what she wants, So I think it's really hard to say, because I know a lot of people, like, going back to your Miley Cyrus example, a lot of people, recently have, they're not fans of her anymore because they just don't agree with her actions and don't see her as maybe the role model that she used to be. But then I know some people who, now see her as even more of a role model because she's doing what she wants and she doesn't care what people think.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's something I would assume, like, most people and most feminists struggle with. And, yeah, it's the idea of, like, should we always just support other women, or should we also look at which choices they are, and, like, would that be a bad choice for anyone regardless of gender or identification or whatever?
Right. It's almost like, oh, you're letting the team down,
Yeah.
We fought
Exactly.
so far,
Right.
we fought so long to get to a certain point, and now you're what worries me, okay, and I've said this to Sophie before, is that a wasted life, is to me is not fulfilling the suffragettes' destiny as wishes for us. And if we come to the point where we're losing our voice, we're not speaking out, we're making a guy our number one relationship, our number one priority, and we sort of take ourselves out of the picture. Whenever our voices are squashed down, I think that's the thing. So sometimes you'll see somebody struggling, and maybe they're trying to find their way to the path where they want to be. And for me, that path was really ugly. It was full of errors. It was embarrassing. And if I had somebody judging me during that time, I probably would have broken in half. It wasn't, I had a really good life. I'm not saying that, but a lot of my mistakes have made me who I am. And I did have some friends judge me. I did have some friends that left me forever. And I still dream about them. I still think about them. And I wish that things could have been different. But it just didn't. I mean, our growth just kind of went off in different directions. And speaking as someone who's 48 years old, every decade of your life, it's different. You make sort of different mistakes. And it's all fine, I didn't anybody. I didn't kill anybody.
Right.
I learned a lot about who I was, and I still feel like I'm learning about who I am. I'm trying. It's sort of like mining your personality to find out who you really want to be. Is that it? That it? Do I want to dress like this? Do I want to dress like that? Who are the people I feel comfortable with? Should I like to go to parties? Should I not like to go to parties? Should I be happy staying home? I still struggle with these things. So along the way, I think you're going to find your mistakes are okay. It's fine. As long as you don't kill anyone. So I try to give other people that space. I try to, why are they acting like that way? It's because she's struggling toward herself, and we have to cut people some slack for that. As long as they don't run over my cat or,
Poor Daisy.
bad thing.
Or the goats, or the horses.
Yeah.
Run off, take my horses. I don't know, Sophie, so do you want to join in with that? I'm watching the time for you, Jess.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Well, I think that, that's something that I discussed with my uncle when it happened. He said, well, I think that it's very interesting what she did. She was trying to express herself, but maybe in a way that for us doesn't fit the mold that we think is an okay expression. And that's something that, sometimes when people express themselves, they'll be like, whoa, no, I don't like that. But maybe it's just how the way that they think is proper for them. And, I'm not much of a fan of Miley Cyrus, but one thing that my parents have taught me is that, everyone's different, and, sometimes I might be disagreeing with them, but I just have to learn to, love thy neighbor. It's very very weird, but sometimes, you say tomato, I say tomato, and as feminists, so sometimes we have to learn that we may not be communicating the same language, but we're still as long as the message that we're sending out is one that, okay, I'll support you, you can support me, and maybe I might not agree with your actions, but I'll respect them.
Yeah.
And that's something that's, I think that, is the basis for the feminist movement. Not every feminist is the same, and some of them might be acting out in ways that we don't think is really feminist, but we just have to, I guess, respect them. And maybe our actions aren't, what they like, but they'll respect them. It's all about, learning to understand that, maybe these expressions are different, but they're still expressions with an intention to show off that we're a woman, we deserve the same rights because as any other human being. And I think that's it.
That's really great. You guys are so well spoken. I wouldn't be able to talk like this when I was your age. But like with Vicky, that's a good point, because Vicky kind of did a twerking thing. She took her clothes off in the beginning of the book.
Exactly.
But to her it was art, and it's sort of like girls like Lena Dunham, who I admire. For her, she puts it out there. She puts it all out there. She's done a lot of hits. Yeah, she's too honest, TMI, and all that. Well, I'm not sure what TMI is. For it's different levels for different people, and you don't. Right. But the fact that she can be honest and that she shows there's all different kinds of body types, I admire that so much. That she doesn't use a body model. That she goes out there, and I just think that's really awesome. So another thing that I think that you were talking about in your oh, here comes my husband, so there's going to be some barking, okay? Just get ready. Daisy, come here. Come here. Maybe if I hold her, she won't bark because it's pretty shrill. Come here. All right. Peer pressure. You were talking about peer pressure and your what do you guys feel about peer pressure? Because I never thought that Vicky was a victim of peer pressure, but I thought, I can understand how people would see that. And I certainly felt that. I don't feel that way. Peer pressure goes away in your late 30s, by the way. You just don't. You're too tired to give a care. Don't worry, it'll go away. It'll go away. But you do. So, Jess, you start with that. How do you feel about feminism and peer pressure? Do you feel that you have to be a certain way? There's a question in there somewhere. So.
I mean, I think as teens in general, there's this sense of peer pressure. I think no matter who you are, whether you're, female or male, just in general, and Yeah, I mean, I think, some people obviously it affects them more than others. Um, and just trying to remember what the what
It's okay. Um, yeah, I think what we were talking about was that did she succumb to peer pressure from those artists, and that maybe that she was pushed to do something that she didn't want to do, and that was interesting to me too because a lot of people. I'm just wondering if she was a guy, if people would say that,
yeah.
and I kind of worried about it too. I thought, how are people are going to take this? But again, I didn't. I thought, well, and here's the thing about books is that you know I cannot look at Folly like you look at Folly, like Sophie looks at Folly,
Right.
like everybody else looks at it. Everybody that reads a book, it's your own personal experience, and that was one thing that I had to learn to do is to let go of it.
Right.
And let people come at it from their own experience. But what I love is hearing when people say, okay, I thought it was peer pressure, or I thought she was this, or I thought she was that. I love that because that means I did my job. I wrote some nuances in there, and it wasn't like this or that. Um,
Yeah.
but I'm really interested in peer pressure with young women, and what you is it like is it a quieter thing that you feel your friends are pushing you in a certain direction, or is it
Mhm.
do you feel judged by other women, or how does it
Well, I think in the case of in Folly, I as far as I remember, I don't think I ever saw um Vicky as being peer pressured because I just saw her as this really headstrong character. So I feel like that was always like part of her, and I didn't get the sense that she was peer pressured. And then more in a general sense, um yeah, I think as I was saying before, I think teens in general, we feel pressured to, I guess more, generally we feel like we want to fit in, right?
yeah.
Um, and
Yes.
and I think that's why like peer pressure is such um, a big influence in our lives because we want to fit in, we want to be liked, um, and so it takes a certain kind of person to kind of ignore it or kind of like choose to still be who you are and to make your own choices,
Yeah.
um, despite the pressure that people are putting on you. And I don't know if it's different for females or males, at least in your teenage years, because I feel like both are, everyone just wants to fit in. um, and then as to how people, I guess, perceive it differently, i I think in society we do see women, females, or young female teens, um, because I think there's this stigma that girls are catty, and um, and it's sort of different, I think, from the way that people perceive um, young males versus young females. And I think when people think of peer pressure, a lot of times they think of girls trying to pressure other girls,
Mm-hmm.
and then a little less so with guys. And I don't know if it's because the expectations for girls are different,
Yeah.
if that makes
No,
sense.
yeah. No, it totally makes sense. And I wonder because you're a ballerina, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so do you find like when I found that when I reached high school and I was in a bigger orchestra and I was in drama and all of that, I felt
Mhm.
like I found my people, more than in middle school. What grade are you? You're in high school, right? Are you in college?
Yeah, I'm in 12th grade.
Oh, okay, you guys are the same. Okay.
Oh, wait, when did you
Oh.
graduate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When's your graduation?
June 25th, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, June 25th is
Congrats.
when I graduated.
Two
Thank you.
graduates. That's so cool. So I felt that way. I felt like my senior year was so great because I really found who I was. I found my people, and I was riding horses, and I was doing all of that. And I felt that peer pressure wasn't so bad. Middle school was
Mm,
terrible. And
yeah.
freshman year, it was really bad. Sophie, you're in a lot of activities too. So do you feel
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. You
Too
know,
late.
on the last day of school, you could hear me across, everyone could hear me going, "Oh, it's over." Yeah. Well, I was in drama club. In the first semester, I was in the Comité Timon. It's the committee in charge of planning senior activities, but I had to leave. It became an environment that really wasn't letting me grow. That I couldn't feel comfortable, so I left. But I remained in theater club and in student council, and it was sometimes it felt like too much because I had to do lots of things. They had me in charge of basically the marketing of a school activity, and that was very fun. And also of the helping out in the drama club as assistant director. So sometimes, you could feel like there was too much going on and you couldn't have time for yourself. But the
Mm-hmm.
thing is that this year has been quite difficult for me. I've had lots of personal situations, and sometimes it felt like friends just didn't understand, or they didn't make an effort to want you to understand. And I think that at some point or the other, you feel peer pressure. But something that I'm thankful for this year is that I learned how to say, you know what, you don't want to help, that's all right. I'll deal with my stuff, you deal with yours. And that's something that my parents have also drilled into me. Focus on the things that you have now. Focus on the things that that value you, on the people that care for you. They are the ones that are going to stick with you when times get even rougher. Last week, I was at the hospital because I had a situation because of my Crohn's. And of all of my friends, only one of them, was the one that kept texting me, how are you? How are you? What's going on? How are you feeling? And she even came to visit me. She's not even my best friend. Well, she became my best friend because of this situation. And, it just, in high school, that's something good. You learn to be with the people that you want to be, and you also learn who are the ones that you want to be with.
Yeah, I think that's so great. It's really true. And sometimes people act in selfish ways. That's a good example of it, and they don't do what they're supposed to do, and they later maybe regret it for not being a good friend to you at that time. Sometimes you got to cut people some slack too on that.
Exactly.
I've been a bad friend. I tell people I'm so sorry, like if I'm in edits or something, and I know if you guys are studying or whatever, and I'm a terrible friend, because I'm so self-involved with what I'm doing that I forget that you might need something from me. So, and when you're younger, you don't really get that, and so it's something that you just have to go through. People can get very upset if their friends aren't there for them, but sometimes they are. They're just sort of like too much for themselves. They're just like stuck into their own little world. So.
Right.
I think we need to wrap it up, you guys, because I know you, Jess, have a tutor coming, and Sophie, you have gummy bears to eat. And,
Exactly.
and I have stalls to clean and a husband to say hi to. But I think we should do this again. This was really fun.
Agree, yeah.
Why don't we see if we can get some more people involved, and maybe when school's over and you guys are done with all your stuff, we'll do another one. This is really fun.
Yeah.
Awesome sauce.
I can get some other writers too, and just
yes.
yeah. So we'll do that.
Okay.
Yay. Okay, guys. I wish you all the best, and I'll speak to you soon.
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.